The Google Nest Hub Max, the newest member of Google's smart home assistants, which not only offer hands-free help around the home, but also this. So, is it any good? What do you get for $350 and why do I regret buying it? G'day, my name's Chris, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for tuning back in, and if you're one of my awesome Patreon members, thanks for your awesome support. Okay, first up, a quick unboxing of this beefy Home Hub Max, which when my daughter first saw it, she mistook it for an iPad. Yeah. Oh, and spoiler alert, this thing is and isn't like an iPad. I'll explain later. Upon opening the box, you're immediately greeted with that beautiful 10-inch screen. Google claims it to be high definition, but does 1280 by 800 pixels count as HD in 2019? Looking at you, Apple. Well, fortunately, you're not going to be using this thing close up, or are you? That LCD screen is pretty nice and vibrant and plenty bright enough for most environments, including situations when you have like sunlight casting across that minimal facade. Around the front of the unit, you've got a 6.5 megapixel camera with a 127-degree wide field of view. That helps with like Google Duo calls and this nifty little feature where it automatically frames users as best it can. Video calls is just one of the reasons I actually got the Home Hub Max, so that I could talk to my brother who lives in Colorado Springs in the US of A. But boy, let me tell you an agonizing story. It took more than 1 hour to get it to work. Turns out that Google had somehow mashed up their database and thought that my wife's phone was the one to send all the Duo calls to. Each time I rang or my brother rang on the Duo call, it would route the video call to her mobile phone. After a lot of cursing and swearing and almost wanting to throw this thing into a wall, I finally worked out that I needed to first change my mobile number in my account on my wife's phone, then delete the account from my phone, reinstate my mobile number onto my own phone, and restart the Google Home Max not once but a few times. After an hour, it finally worked again. Yeah, took an hour, wasn't fun. Your experience may vary and could be smooth and seamless, but it's still not reassuring, especially that you have to trust Google is going to do the right thing by keeping your sensitive data secure from little fundamental things like accounts, voice recordings, and well now, video recordings. And before you put down the comments, come on Chris, you bought into Google's ecosystem. Of course, your digital profile is compromised. And in response, yeah, I have to agree, but having all the benefits of a virtual assistant means that at the time of this recording, you have to give a part of your privacy away to unlock the full potential of devices like this, but I wish it was better. Remember how in the intro I said that this is like an iPad but isn't like an iPad? Let me explain here now. So to start with, the Home Hub is an enclosed ecosystem that only allows certain apps to be loaded onto it. At its heart is a Chromecast device that lets you stream certain things to it, as well as like a mini computer that runs a version of Android that you can use to control your lights, media, and well, Internet of Things that are connected to the smart home of the future today. This is of course done through either your voice or touchscreen, but what it doesn't let you do is load apps like say Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp as an alternative way to do video calls. Would my experience of getting that video call be easier if I could have maybe used Messenger? Probably, but I guess this is Google's way of transitioning you to their services and trying to be a bit more like Apple to control the end user experience. That, by the way, is not a bad thing. On the contrary, it actually handles most everything you throw at it pretty well, such as music streaming with Google Play Music, or in the sad future, YouTube Music. But it also does stand playback, casting from your mobile phone, so you can like play your Facebook videos on it or YouTube videos, but not weirdly, like not Netflix. Supposedly, Google and Netflix are in talks, and perhaps it's something to do with like money and intellectual property. Okay, with that out of the way, I do like how you can control the home hub with not only your voice, but also the touchscreen, or the best yet, through that built-in camera. And you can pretend to be like a Jedi and get it to stop playback, as long as you're close enough and you're trained to recognize you. One of the awesome features of this device is the ability to recognize your face and provide you with like personalized reminders, next calendar appointments, what your commute to work is going to be, and so on. In addition, it can also deliver you music and video based upon your taste. It works from about 3 meters, and it's surprising how quickly it picks you up on you as you enter a room, but it doesn't always work. Now it can't see me. I'm about 3 meters away from it. I'm gonna walk towards it. I'm walking towards it. I'm now almost at 2 meters. Still hasn't, there we go. So around about 2 meters, that camera will work and will pick you up. For those who want remote video monitoring for security reasons, or maybe a baby monitor in their homes, the Nest Google partnership along with this Home Hub Max makes it possible from, well, anywhere in the world. It's a monthly subscription service which no doubt some people will use, but for me personally, I found it very creepy, and within a week I turned it off. My wife really didn't like this feature, and more often than not I would come home to find this. Hi honey, I'm home. I'm home. I'm home. To reassure her that there are better ways of handling your own privacy by using like the slider switch on the rear of this unit, this not only turns off the camera but also the microphone. A little tiny LED will show you that the mic and camera are off, but yeah, I'm gonna call you on it, Google. That's not enough for people who don't trust Google with their data. You actually need a physical lens cover. And recall what I said just a moment ago, that it turns off both the camera and microphone? Well, that means now you're disabled the entire utility of this device, and it's now just an expensive photo frame and maybe clock. I think this could be fixed with a software update, as the Home Hub Max works best when you use your voice and, well, not the touchscreen or gesture controls. So after reassuring Mrs. that the orange light means that, well, it can no longer see or hear her, I now find that the Google Home is left on, mostly. Okay, with that bit of unpleasantness out the way, let's continue the tour of the hub. Of course, it can still make use of the dual far-field microphones, which in my experience aren't as good as other smaller home hubs that we have. You see, here I am about 1 meter from the Google Home Max, and well, the microphones, the far-field microphones, just aren't as good. Check this out. All good. All right, that responded. Stop. Now I'm about 2 meters away from it. And well, that's perfectly fine as well. It's going to work. So now I'm about 3 meters away from it. Let's try here. It's working fine. But you know what? This is the thing. Right here, right now, it's a nice, quiet household. And Google just said, uh-oh, that'll be an outtake. And here's the thing. Right here, right now, we're in a nice, quiet household. And well, the kids are out, no one's home, there's no ambient noise. And these Google Assistants, they're great in that environment. But drop me into a family environment where you've got music, you've got people talking, you've got TVs on. This Home Assistant with those far-field mics definitely isn't as good. Finishing what appears to be a very basic front, you've got an ambient light sensor, which actually is an optional setting you can use. And what it's going to do is going to match the light intensity and colors of the room to make the photographs match its surroundings. It's all very Harry Potter-like, because people would say, wow, that photograph changed. And how did it change? Because they mistook this as an actual photograph. It seriously is that good. To the rear, there's a volume up and down rocker, along with some speakers hidden behind the charcoal fabric. Thankfully, sound quality has improved over the previous iterations, and it now fires audio out from two 10-watt tweeters that are like 18 millimeters in diameter each, and there's one 30-watt woofer That's just like 75mm. Sound quality is good, not great, and bass sounds a little hard, a little artificial, as though it's trying to be a bigger speaker than it really is. The tweeters cover most vocals and songs quite well, but when compared to the JBL Link View, which I had for a few days, the sound quality on this isn't as good as the JBL. So would I recommend buying this? Well, this is part of the video where I bring you all the bad stuff about the Home Hub Max. First up is the lack of software refinement. My daughter, who thought this was like an iPad, soon discovered that she could watch YouTube videos early in the morning when she should actually be asleep. My wife and I do our best to limit screen time, and we hide the remote controls before we go to bed each night. That way they don't end up being cranky little monsters. But with this being yet another screen in the house, she takes advantage of this, and well, I'll frequently wait to find her in front of the screen. Sure, you can disable video playback through digital filters and downtime settings, but in doing so, you stop all video playback for all users. And well, the fix is obvious. They should utilize the camera and Face ID to enable playback to the right user, regardless of what time of day it is. Next is something which I think any parent can relate to, and that is noise and the environment. By yourself, or maybe with another member of the household, you have this unspoken rule that if I use the wake word, "Hey Google," we all agree to be relatively quiet and give a person a moment to send out their voice command so that assistants like this can work their best. But in a family of 6, getting Google's attention is not a case of "Hey Google," but "Hey Google!"
I just don't get it.
Wow.
Yes, kids are noisy. Family homes are noisy. There's TV, there's music, there's chatter, there's animals, and it's all happening simultaneously. And devices like this don't do so well. Oh, and side note, when Google Home Hub is not doing anything particular, it can show any photo album you point to it. And this will mean in turn that your kids end up doing this.
I love that one. Dave. Is that when it was your birthday?
This is the last annoying thing you want your kids to be doing when they should maybe tidying up or something like that. So you know what you do? You say, "Hey Google, turn off." But if this isn't you and you can live with the privacy issues, the Home Hub Max is great. The addition of a camera will no doubt become a very fancy, customizable home assistant in the future that responds to not only voice and touch, but also sight. The speakers are good at filling a small to medium-sized room with great sounding music. This large screen makes viewing from across even the largest of rooms very possible. And reliving family photos or marveling at Google's landscapes and artwork is a joy and makes me glad that I got the Home Hub. Plus, being able to do video calls is the icing on the cake. So, in the end, I put aside my privacy concerns and put up with some software issues that I've raised in this video, and Jenny will say that I enjoy using the Home Hub Max. If you're unsure but think that you might like it, you won't be disappointed.